Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bangers, Bops, and Banter. This is episode 56. And, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm one of your hosts, Joe. I'm here with the co-host, Brendan.
I'm the co-host, Brendan.
And we have guests.
Guest 1, go.
Hey, it's a V, Mario.
Guest 2, go.
I'm Kobe, and I love the French language. I think it's beautiful.
My God.
Alright, guest 2 will no longer be on the show. Sorry
Okay,
about
see you
that.
guys. Yeah. I was disconnected. I didn't want to fuck up your recording.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Damn. Alright. Well, you didn't...
Excuse me.
Jason say his name? I don't think he did.
I'm Jason.
There we go. Alright, we got a cool episode of the podcast coming up. Cross our fingers. You
could never be so sure with these things.
Yeah.
I feel like we say it's cool every week, and how many weeks has it actually been cool?
It can't be every, just by numbers.
Well, most weeks I say I hope, so,
Okay.
I respect your propensity for optimism.
Yeah. Alright, well, we got some music, and, well, there's no movie news, there's just music news. Then we have the question of the week, which is, what is your favorite dinosaur? Good question, I must say.
Important question.
Joe came up with it, that's why he says that.
I've come up with most of the questions, so...
Fair.
So they're all
Source
good
them out to
questions.
me if you want.
I mean, just write down ideas.
Alright.
Do you have any? After that, we're going to be talking about the broadcast album Work and Non-Work, or it's a compilation, right?
Yeah, it's a compilation album.
And then we're going to be talking about Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So yeah. With that, we'll get into the show. Also maybe like a little bit of Space Jam, the second one, but probably only briefly if we do. So yeah. With that, let's get into the show. First on music news, the Kanye, Mr. Kanye West.
Yeah.
He is supposed to be releasing Donda this week.
He's not gonna.
No.
No, he's not. He's
fair.
just not gonna.
Yeah, I believe.
There's not legitimately. I don't mean to stomp on your whole deal here. We can move on to the next topic.
Okay, no.
He's not gonna.
No, but there's like actually reason to believe he might.
Sure.
No, like I'm pretty sure he announced it, but he also has a new song that soundtracks a Beats ad that came out like this week. So
I'm
I
not
don't-
convinced.
I don't think that means as much as you think it means.
there's an album listening event. It's taking place Thursday at 8 p.m.
Is Kanye there?
Yes.
Probably.
I saw photos on Twitter from a different one that he did, I think he did yesterday or the day before, and he was wearing a dumb little mask and he had headphones on.
What if he just shows up and he doesn't have a new album and they just listen to The Life of Pablo?
That'd be ideal. That'd be ideal.
No, he just shows up and they just like listen. I'm just thinking they listen to like a Beatles album or something.
He didn't say what album, to be fair.
It just said
listening-
album. No.
They're listening to the Wiggles.
Let's go.
Kanye's been in a real fruit salad kick recently. It's
Mhm.
really inspiring.
All right. After that, in music news, pretty unfortunate music news, but Biz Markie has passed away at 57.
It's unfortunate.
He's, just a friend. Great song. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, that's kind of what everyone's just going to remember him for. So. Yeah. Next in music news, the Grammys, they're back at it. They've updated their rules.
Go.
Chart numbers and sales figures are now banned in for your consideration ads for the Grammys, which is interesting.
Okay.
If it's weird to me that like people voting would just base it off of sales figures and chart numbers. That seems weird to me.
Yeah.
It's not surprising though.
Yeah, I can understand chart numbers because like if it's like a really popular album that was like super, present throughout the year,
Yeah.
then I could understand like that's a consideration, but vote on quality, please.
I was talking to my friend about the Grammys the other day, and I was talking about how like up until recently they had a whole category called urban contemporary artists or some such bullshit.
Yep.
And I was talking about how like I think we actually spoke about it on one of the first episodes I was on. We were talking about the Grammys and how like it's just an excuse to put all the black artists in the same category, like away from the white people.
Yeah, and then they updated it to be or they said they were getting rid of the category, but actually they just changed the name to progressive R&B. And it's still just where they put the black artists.
It's so dumb. Fucking hate the Grammys. The show has radicalized me. That's what it is. This show has radicalized me against the Grammys.
Let's go.
Grammys suck. We've been very vocal about how the Grammys suck.
I didn't have a strong opinion really, and then I like started being friends with you guys and came on here and I was like, oh yeah, you're right, they do suck.
I remember me and Brendan watched the Grammys one year. And it was the worst experience. It was like 4 hours. And it was just like a bunch of performances that neither of us cared about except for like Janelle Monáe.
She was good.
And then like there were like 10 awards given out during the ceremony.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see awards and for them to actually talk about them.
Every now and again they have a good performance. Kendrick had a performance a couple years ago. I think he perform he performed something and the set was like a huge jail block. Didn't he? He performed like Blacker the Berry or something.
Maybe.
It was really good. But it's like the Grammys letting a song like Blacker the Berry be played on their show means they didn't listen to the fucking song. Because that song is fucking intense.
Yeah.
The Grammys are one step away from calling all the black artists the N-word. They would not have let that fucking on if they knew. I'm just saying.
What's the quote from the Grammy president dude that sometimes they listen to the full album?
Is that real?
Yeah.
That's oh my god, that's unbelievable. Oh my god, we could have a whole episode trashing the Grammys.
Honestly, I could compile it all from the past.
You probably have like 3 or so hours of footage.
Probably.
Oh god.
But we gotta move on.
And then lastly in music news, so far for 2021, in terms of album sales, the top 10 acts are all rock bands. Except for BTS. BTS is in there.
They're a band and they rock. I question where you're coming from on that one.
But yeah, BTS is the number one.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But then number 2 and number 3 are the Beatles and Metallica. So yeah.
Everyone's dad got their fucking debit cards out this year.
Number 4 is Queen. Number 5 is Fleetwood Mac. Number 6 is Pink Floyd. Number 7 is AC/DC. 8 is Nirvana. 9 is Foo Fighters. And 10 is Led Zeppelin. So, pretty interesting.
Good for You know what? Good for Dave Grohl. He's on there twice. Good for Dave Grohl.
Fight that foo.
Yeah.
And all the dads just buying music apparently.
I'm pretty sure. Fun fact: I'm pretty sure Dave Grohl has been like, if I knew this was like going to take off, I wouldn't have named us the fucking Foo Fighters.
Why did he name the band that? Like, what was the story?
The Foo Fighters, I believe, is like a, it's like a phenomenon with fighter pilots or something, or it was like something that happened. Basically, they saw like UFOs, but they're like lights, and they called them Foo Fighters or something along those lines. And he just took the name from that.
Honestly, not bad.
Yeah,
It's not as good as Nirvana, but it's not bad.
Yeah, that's it for the news. So let's get on to the greatest question we've ever asked.
Okay, Jesus.
What's your favorite dinosaur, everyone?
Wow. I'm gonna go first here. I'm gonna say my dinosaur isn't really a dinosaur, and it's also not really my favorite. But I just want to tell this story for some reason, right? So when I was a developing teen in my formative years, you know how like you like latch onto something for like a week and you're like super into that thing because you're like trying to find out like what your actual interests are. So there was one week where I latched onto dinosaurs, right? Because I had been watching this BBC series called Walking with Dinosaurs on my dad's Kindle, right? With Amazon Prime Video. And in Walking with Dinosaurs, they have an episode on the Liopleurodon in which they show it to be like this massive, like giant sea creature that just like the episode starts and it like jumps out of the water and like rips the head off of a T-Rex, right? Super cool.
I think I've seen that actually.
Yeah.
It's a sick clip.
It's a lie. The Liopleurodon is like 1/6 the size that it is presented as in the show.
I used to love that clip. That's fucked. I used to love that episode. That's fucked because I know what you're talking about. That's messed up.
Oh yeah, it's like it's not that big at all, and I just think that's
you gotta
really
fucking
funny.
prep me for that. You gotta prep me for that. That's fucked. Ugh.
This giant thing existed that ripped the head off of T-Rexes, and it's like nah, it's just kind of like it's like a bigger dolphin essentially.
Like a bigger dolphin.
The Ichthyosaurus, which is actually, or wait, is this? No, wait, that. Wait a minute, am I getting this wrong? Is this just a family of animals? It's just a family of animals. I'm trying to find what the largest fucking aquatic dinosaur is.
The plesiosaur or something.
It might be the plesiosaur.
I think it's the plesiosaur. No, isn't it the megalodon? Does the megalodon count as a dinosaur?
No, it's not.
No?
Megalodon's only like 50 feet. Actually, it's the Mosasaurus, is it? I think.
Oh, from Ned's Declassified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're not even that big. Fucking Jurassic Park lied.
Oh my
Isn't it?
god.
These guys
I can't believe it.
They only grow up to 60 feet. What is this?
That's pretty fucking big, though.
That's
60
big.
feet is like what? That's massive.
That's
that's
big.
big, but that's like compare that to like a blue whale, which is like 100 feet.
You know what? The blue whale is like the largest animal in history. So if you're chasing the biggest, it's alive right now.
It's not that far.
Like, do you know the Jurassic World movie, the first one, where there's the Mosasaurus in the fucking like giant cage?
Yeah.
Isn't the
Like, I'm just gonna put this in general, because this is what it looks like in the movie. It's massive. It's eating a great white. Just like.
You think it would be fun if it was like a little guy?
That would
little guy.
It's just like it's not that big. What is this?
Oh, well, that's
I
too
feel
bad.
like media has a habit of enlarging dinosaurs.
Isn't there? There's also the one that's like
If
it has
it was a little fucking dork, if that shark was a fucking dork, you wouldn't care. You don't care about Jurassic World now. My camera fell. You don't care about Jurassic World now, and it is big.
Yeah. Maybe if my Jurassic movies were scientifically accurate, I would care more.
Shut the.
You ever think
No,
about
you
that,
would
Kobe?
not.
You
You
guys
were into
wanna know
walking
what-
with dinosaurs when you were a kid.
Do you guys want
For
to know
a
what
whole
I
week.
like? Do you guys want to know what I like?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
that?
Oh, okay. I like. Oh, it's not a dinosaur. It's technically a fucking pterosaur or whatever. P silent. Anyways,
Peace out.
it's the sorry, Quetzalcoatlus. It's like a pterosaur, but it's the size of a giraffe.
Yeah.
So I just like a funny thought that like something giraffe sized was flying around our Earth at one point.
They're kind of terrifying.
Yeah, no, absolutely terrifying. Like, have you guys seen a giraffe up close, like at a zoo?
No.
They're fucking tall.
They're tall. They're really tall. I mean, they're like 5 of us tall, and that thing flew.
5 of us. Jason,
Well,
they're 10 of you and me.
Your mileage may vary. I'm fucking 6'4", so if you're shorter,
Here,
it may not be the same. It might be a little more. I also like, and this isn't a dinosaur. It's a fish, but the coelacanth or whatever it's called. Those fish that have literally been alive for like 400 million years and haven't changed. Those are pretty neat.
Yeah.
I don't know why the fuck they're still around, but you know what? They're pretty ballin'.
I mean, they
And,
haven't like changed.
Yeah, that's true. And then I like giant sloths, but they're not dinosaurs. They're mammals.
Giant
from
sloths
the-
are sick, though.
They're giant.
And they're sloths.
Yeah. I think I saw a skeleton of one or a model of one at like the Museum of Natural History in New York City. And what a cool fucking giant thing that is.
Wait, can I change my answer for favorite dinosaur to Joe Biden?
Yeah. Good one. Woo!
So lame. Oh my
That's
god.
so epic.
So lame.
Ugh.
Ugh.
I thought of that and I knew it was bad, but I had to say it.
Had to.
There was a gun to my head.
Right. You guys can't see at home, but there was a literal gun to his head.
Yeah.
So it depends on. So the answer I was gonna go with was the Ankylosaurus because I think dinosaurs that are basically walking spike shells with a hammer on the end, just cool. It's like a battle bot. It's like a battle bot, but a dinosaur, and I think that's really interesting. If we're not talking that, like, if you'll let me stretch the definition a little, I would say the megalodon. Honestly, I know I mentioned it earlier. The megalodon is so cool to me because
not a dinosaur, but yes.
He said giant sloth, so shut up.
Yeah.
But I like the megalodon because the ocean scares me, and the concept that it was at one point fucking worse. Like I love the ocean. I think it's beautiful. The deep ocean scares the fuck out of me.
I like the megalodon because it's like if you ratio locked a great white in Photoshop and then just dragged it from the corner. Like it doesn't look any different. It's just kind of like a bigger great white shark.
Well, Kobe,
From what we could assume.
The great white shark is like the perfect killing machine. It just doesn't kill.
Kobe, you'll be happy to hear that the megalodon wasn't a deep water predator. It lurked the shores.
No, it was huge. How did it do that?
Because there's not much. I mean, like,
It was huge.
yeah, it's like Great
Wouldn't it
Lakes
like
are
beach itself? Wouldn't it
Probably
like beach
did.
itself?
Not
by
like
near shores. I mean, like within 100 miles of the shores where
Oh,
the coastal.
Oh, sorry, Kobe,
Oh.
you didn't know it had legs?
I thought you meant it was like chilling on like the beach with under an umbrella. I was
Kobe,
like,
Kobe, you think the ocean is scary? Wait till it starts running at you
oh,
with its shark legs.
oh god,
Kobe
Like
would hate to be alive like 500 million years ago.
I hate being alive
we all
now,
would.
Joseph.
I think we all would.
Joseph, I hate being alive now, and the worst thing that happens to me on a day-to-day basis is walking up and down my apartment stairs. And I hate it. and it's awful, and I can't do it.
Dude, I forgot the megalodon is the size of a school bus.
It's
A
huge.
school bus sized shark is just sprinting at
huge.
you. He's not sprinting; it's swimming.
Huge.
No, he's
The-
sprinting.
well, this has come up in my day-to-day life a lot recently, and I don't know why. Several references to the great white shark being a perfect killing machine, and it is. It's like just fundamentally, it is one of the greatest killers on the planet, and yet it just doesn't kill as many people as we think it does. It's so interesting. It's like they're waiting, you know.
It's just
It
we're
doesn't
just
want to
not
kill
that
us.
tasty. Yeah.
No. I
Go-
know it does. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't. Like it's waiting. It just doesn't. It can kill us. It just doesn't.
Because it doesn't
know?
want to.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to kill you either, Brandon. That doesn't mean I can't.
Okay, but like, I mean, we could very easily kill, I don't know, squirrels. We don't really want to.
Yeah,
Well, if
but
I
we're
was
not the
hungry,
size
I
of
would.
we're not the perfect killing machine.
Compared to
The great white
squirrel,
shark is.
probably.
Are you kidding me, Kobe? We have guns. Like humans are the perfect killing machines. We've made fucking nukes.
Yeah, we have nuclear weapons that have wiped out
true.
hundreds
I'm
of thousands
saying-
of people at once.
That's not fair though, because I'm saying on a pure fundamentals level.
On a fundamentals level, as a human,
humans
I'm
aren't-
going to carry a gun with me.
Idiot.
Okay, Kobe,
You're an
Kobe. I want you to
idiot.
think about how much pollution you're going to create in your life and the disastrous effects that will have on the climate and how many things will die because of
Well,
that.
actually, he won't create that
He
much
won't create
pollution.
that much.
It-
No.
What would win,
Combination.
opposable thumbs or a great white shark? And I
I'm
think it's
taking
the
the shark.
opposed. I'm taking the
taking the shark.
thumbs because these
Jason,
thumbs,
Jason.
these thumbs in particular
Listen, I
haven't.
can jam
but
my
these
thumbs in his eyeballs.
Can we please bring Jason out to the deep ocean and chuck him in the fucking ocean?
Give
with a
me a
shark and see if
gun.
he lives?
Give me a harpoon.
You can't. You're not gonna win. You're a
Give
fool.
me a nuke. You want
You'll
to fucking bet?
You'll die. Yeah, you'll die. You'll die.
You know,
telling
the
you.
U.S. military
I'll
does
die
those
from the
tests
nuke.
frequently, James.
You're
I
gonna
won't
die.
die from the shark.
No, the shark's gonna kill you. Fundamentally, when sharks are just sharks, they have the teeth, they have the speed, they have the ability to do what they're doing. They're the perfect killing machine. Jason's main talent, his main talent, is that he can put on a sweatshirt.
Kobe.
That's it.
Kobe.
Okay,
I love
if
Jason to
those-
death.
shark
That's all
gets
his
those-
thumbs give him.
Kobe. If those traits were apex, humans wouldn't be ruling the world right now.
We don't rule the world.
Shark.
bald.
Sharks
We
just-
do.
no, I'm saying in a perfect world, sharks can't leave the ocean. That's it.
We are inarguably the most dominant species on planet Earth. We are killing everything right now.
I don't know.
That's true.
I mean,
That
like,
is true.
We
bugs are
have
gonna-
demonstrated the power to like destroy the Earth itself, and we are actively doing it. You are not going to tell me that we aren't the ultimate species on this planet
bugs
because
are gonna
ants
be
aren't doing
along
that.
before us and they're gonna be
Sharks
here long
aren't doing
after
that.
us.
Don't count out the cockroach.
Did you say things have been here long before us and long after us? Not if we have a say.
No, bugs. We can destroy the world with climate and like nuclear disaster or whatever. Bugs will still be around.
Cockroaches are still going to be a thing.
I mean, we could probably figure out a way to get an asteroid to hit the Earth, and then
Bugs will still
Guys.
be around.
not if it's big enough.
What are we talking about here?
I just think
What
we have developed chemicals like to make bugs just die. They haven't done that to us. Like I don't know what to tell you. I like these.
What are you
We may not
talking
have.
about?
We may not
What are
have.
you talking
We may not
about?
have the perfect like natural traits, but evolution gave us these fucking thumbs and these wrinkles in our brains and said, "Go to hell with it," and we fucking went ham. All right. We don't need like shit in our ass or like whatever bugs have.
I
We don't need.
I
We don't need to be able to like rip off our arms and stab things with our
But
frog bones.
on a
We have thumbs and brains, and we've made everything we've needed for that.
yes, human beings are going to be the death of human beings. We can all agree with that. I do think, however, you would lose to a shark. And I think that because you don't just have shit on you.
Give me time to prepare.
Oh, sorry, Batman.
So no, I'm just saying there are no thoughts going through that shark's head. Head empty, life good, swim, and eat seal. Okay,
You're
that's
gonna
all the
lose.
shark's doing.
You're gonna
Give
die.
me time to plan.
You're gonna
Give me
die.
like a chainmail suit and like a harpoon gun. I'm going fucking
Chainmail
off.
ain't gonna do shit.
Have you ever seen Jaws, Kobe? Come on.
They beat the shark, Kobe.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
You know that people almost died trying to fix the actual Jaws? Not even the real like a real shark. They almost died inside the suit because it could have shut at any time and crushed them. People almost died trying to fix the fake Jaws.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Kobe,
I'm
wait,
not-
no.
Because
Get this,
humans
get
made
this, Kobe. Here's another point. We made Jaws.
Yeah.
We replicated the shark. If in reality, Kobe, I could make a shark submersible and just eat sharks with it. Sharks don't have shit on that.
I don't. So hold on. So you've proposed two separate things here. You've proposed that Jaws is the perfect killing machine in nature, and we defeated it. And you also proposed that we made the perfect killing machine, and it's artificial.
I have the power to replicate it. I am the perfect killing
No,
machine.
the fuck you don't.
I can make something to surpass Metal Gear.
No, you can't, Jason. No, you can't.
Yes, but humanity in general can.
Jason, I'm saying you would lose to a shark.
I know 1v1, sure. I'm not arguing that. I'm not gonna fist fight. Take the shark to my territory. How about that?
You were just arguing.
Let's see how it does on the beach.
Arguing it.
I'm arguing that with ample time to plan and prepare, yes, I could beat the shark. Because I can make things that the shark could never dream of. Because the shark doesn't dream. It's an idiot. It's a dumb little fucking pea brain.
We don't have to insult them. We don't have to insult them.
I'm so happy I asked this question.
We can beat sharks because they don't dream. You're an idiot. Oh my god.
Yeah, they don't.
I want to say one last thing.
Real big. We make a big bomb, blow up bomb, shark go bye-bye.
I want to say one last thing, and then we probably should move on soon.
Oh my god.
I think Jason would lose to a shark on the beach. I think the shark would be on the beach and he'd still lose.
I would just honestly though, like I said, let me be prepared. But you know what? I'll just destroy the shark's habitat. Then I'll really win.
Well, how much time are we giving?
I'm gonna start using plastic straws. That's a good idea, right? No, see, the shark's never gonna win. And I just want to say something right here. That was a joke, and you should conserve the shark's habitat. Okay? Regardless of this conversation, we love the sharks here on the Bop Stop podcast. Save the sharks. Use metal straws. Reduce your waste. Thank you.
Anyway,
Do you guys want to get into the conversation about how metal straws don't actually reduce waste? But whatever.
do we want to?
Yeah, neither do the 7 companies that are destroying the planet with like their oil reserves and shit. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, actually, the whole like reduce your carbon footprint thing was made up by companies to distract people.
Comfort, dude.
they're like when this thing goes under, you use too much paper.
No, yeah. I think it was actually Shell who did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Shell, they love the ocean. And
They love it.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're named Shell.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, my favorite dinosaur is the Brachiosaurus. I just look at him.
Is that the
They're
long one or the tall one?
The tall and long one.
No,
What's
but there's
the
one that's
Brontosaurus?
longer. There's one
What's
that's
the
longer, right?
Brontosaurus?
The Brontosaurus, I think, is about the same length as the Brachiosaurus. Here, okay. This is the Brachiosaurus.
Whoa, that thing big.
Yeah, big fucking. These guys are literally like 100 feet long.
Is the guy before time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure their height is like 40 feet or something. They're fucking massive.
The Brachiosaurus? My god.
Yeah. Man, Brachiosaurus is. They also have this like hump thing on the top of their head that's cool. Cool boys.
Yeah.
Which is
think-
the really long one?
There's oh my god, I should have gotten my fucking dinosaur books. I have like 3 or 4
Hang
dinosaur
on.
books.
Guys, I'm gonna send this in
Just
general.
dinosaurs.
This is the I think the Amphicelios.
Oh, yes.
No, wait, no, never mind. Hang on. Where is it?
Hold on, I'm just gonna Google longest
Oh, here's an
dinosaur
image.
ever.
The red one is the. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, I remember. Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
it's just a different name. There's the Argentinosaurus. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
I
things are
remember these
fucking
guys.
long.
It says on Google they're as long as 4 fire engines.
So you know how like we consider the blue whale the largest animal of all time because it's the heaviest?
I think we consider it the largest currently living animal.
No, we consider it the largest all time because I think when they say largest, they're talking about like size, as in like weight.
Oh, okay.
But the Argentinosaurus is like the longest to ever live, and as what I can visualize, I would consider that the largest. I think we should really change our metrics here.
Well, I think
It's
the blue
it's
whale is
over
also the
130
most
feet long.
voluminous, is the thing.
What'd you say?
It's the most voluminous. It takes up the most volume. So that would be
Yeah,
one.
holy
You think the blue whale does?
I think so.
Well, it probably does because, I mean, it probably displaces the most.
Yeah.
Blue whales are about 300,000 pounds.
God.
Argentinosaurus
that.
is anywhere from 100 to 200,000 pounds.
God.
How long? Brachiosaurus. It doesn't say the Brachiosaurus.
I just looked it up. The Argentinosaurus is over 130 feet long.
God damn.
Unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Long
4
boy.
fire engines. Yeah, 4 fire engines.
So what the fuck is this thing then? Amphicelius?
I think I had a dinosaur phase like y'all had.
Oh god. The Amphicelius, you said 100 and something what feet long?
Over 130 feet long.
So the Amphicelios, they've only gotten a femur of it apparently, but it's estimated to be up to 200 feet long.
Good
Holy
God.
shit. God damn.
Imagine getting stepped on.
Step on me, king.
Just get 1 foot could smush me to a flat disc.
Nah, Jason, if you had time, you could figure out a way to beat it.
I mean, I could. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why that doesn't resonate with you.
I think it's one thing to say I could beat a shark, and then you see the shark and you're like, oh my fucking god, that's a shark. That's what I'm saying. I think there's an
Yes.
X factor.
But if I had like a submarine, I'd just like run it over or something. I don't know.
Run it over.
I don't think that's how a submarine works.
I don't know.
The logic of undersea traversal is lost on me.
All right. We got some more responses to the question.
Yeah, let's run these.
Yeah, so we got Allosaurus. Solid choice. He's like Allosaurus is always just like the T-Rex's like little brother, except also they didn't exist at the same time, like or even close.
Mm-hmm.
Allosauruses are pretty cool. Oh man, Spinosaurus is also really cool.
Spinosaurus is cool.
And also, I remember Gigantosaurus, who is like a T-Rex but bigger, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We also got Deinonychus, Deinonychus is like basically a bigger Velociraptor.
I should have said Velociraptors are cool too.
No, they're a little
Velociraptor-
short.
Yeah, Velociraptors are like 3 feet
I like
tall. Deinonychus is basically a Velociraptor, but they're like 10 feet tall. We also got Pterodactyl, solid choice in a similar boat to Quetzalcoatlus. And also Triceratops, who are fucking awesome.
Triceratops are great.
Don't forget about Therizinosaurus,
Oh, I posted that more as a joke.
Finger Boy.
You're also missing. You're missing one more.
Yeah, don't forget. Don't mess with Mamasaurus. You'll get Jurassic kicked.
That's a good one too, but that's not what I was gonna. Yeah, I mean, someone did say your mom in response to the question.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, if someone said your mom.
So what's the question for next week?
The question for next
What's
week.
your second favorite dinosaur?
Yeah.
Can we ask them what their favorite League of Legends champion is?
Oh, Jesus.
We will never do that.
What's your favorite League of Legends song? Yeah, we gotta relate it to the
Actually,
show.
no, that's not a bad question because Pop
We're not
Star
doing-
slaps.
Popstar does slap. Anyway, the question for next week is who is the best vocalist of all time?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Holy shit, KDA does well.
Yeah, they're like
They have
a very
what?
popular K-pop group.
What the fuck? They have 200 million listens on one of their songs
Yeah.
on Pop
Yeah.
Stars? What?
That song
I
is
thought
kind-
they've got like 2 million listens on Spotify and everyone made fun of them.
No,
Popstar is genuinely a banger.
it is.
Such a good track.
Wow. Cool.
All right. Anyway, with that, well, let's get into the album.
So
The album.
who selected this album and why?
I picked this album. Well, you see, I listened to a couple songs here and there by the recommendation of my girlfriend, and I said, why not check out the album? I like a couple tracks, so see what the whole thing's all about, huh? You want me to say what it is?
Yeah. What is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Work and Non-Work. It's a compilation album by the group Broadcast.
Ooh. Yeah, it compiles their first EP, the Bookloaders EP, with a couple of singles and a couple of, I believe, tracks that weren't released previously as well. Broadcast being just a couple of guys, not well,
and a girl.
Actually, the core is one guy and one girl, and they have a bunch of other musicians that come in and out of the band as time goes on. Unfortunately, the girl Trish Keenan, she died in 2011 due to pneumonia complications. Very sad. I love Broadcast, by the way. I want to start this discussion by saying I'm a Broadcast stan. I fucking love Broadcast.
He's about to shit all over this album right now.
What?
Yeah, I just have a feeling, you know?
No, I love this album, dude.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I told you I'm a Broadcast. I love all their albums.
Yeah, I love
except for the
Broadcast.
Focus Group one.
Yeah.
The Focus Group one's kind of meh, but
Yeah, I'm a big Broadcast guy.
yeah.
No.
I have a Broadcast
No,
vinyl back there somewhere. Anyways, yeah, I mean, this is their first work, and you can definitely tell it's like kind of in their earlier work. They have like the thing that like immediately draws me to this album is the very haunting atmosphere on this album, and it extends throughout Broadcast work, but the way they do it here with their kind of like throwback to nostalgic times, I guess, like it's very much inspired by previous music. It's not a late 90s sound really, and it's very haunting in that aspect, and I think it's really cool. The vocalist Trish Keenan, she's very like distant and forlorn at times. There's like really cool things that Broadcast did to create this kind of sound. Like there's stories of like her singing inside of a cardboard box in order to like get the right sound, and it's just like really cool. This album's also like kind of jazzy at points. It's not a jazz, but it's definitely, it has like those elements to it, and I think that works out really well. It's like, I don't know, there's just like so many great songs off of this album. Lights Out is probably my favorite Broadcast song. I think it's an excellent way to close out the album. Oh man, just I love. Wow. Anyways,
I think that
Joe can shit
Haunting
on
is
this
a
album now.
Haunting is a great. I think Haunting.
Or no, you go. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I'll go. Don't worry about it. All right, sorry. I think haunting is a great word to use actually.
Yeah.
It's like definitely one of the most like premier feelings you get while you're listening to this album. another thing that I want to give it props for. It's like super consistent, all throughout. To the point where through my first listen through, when I was just kind of chilling out to it, which by the way is a great way to listen to this album when you just kind of want to chill out and relax, maybe do something in the background. Was that I barely even noticed that the songs were changing. It has such great flow.
Mm-hmm.
And just like nothing really hits you in the face. It's just a 36-minute solid listen through a very relaxing, haunting album, as we said before.
Yeah, I do think it is very respectable how, despite this being a compilation album and a lot of these songs weren't created with that album experience in mind, it comes together very well. I listened to this album like quite a bit before I even knew it was a compilation album. I just thought it was their debut, but I was wrong. And like props to them for being able to create such consistency with it.
Joby, what are your thoughts?
Who going?
I don't care.
I like it. It's a very, like you said, it's a very like calming kind of like it's kind of out there, I guess.
Yeah.
It's pretty experimental, I'd say, just with the sound choices they go for, which are often very they remind me of UFO music.
Yeah.
Just like music when a UFO comes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I don't think I was really in the mood for this record this week.
Mm-hmm.
Most of what I've been listening to is like depressing emo music. So
yeah,
that's definitely
my man.
I think that like this album for me would benefit from another listen.
Yeah.
Just when I'm in, you got to feel the right mood for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those that like would be enhanced by a certain mood that you're feeling when you're listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, just to be clear, was not in that mood today. I was well, Joe, you said you were pretty sad. I felt pretty uplifted and not very chill, so that's why I couldn't really vibe as much, but I guess there's a middle ground to be found there, so.
I think for me, like that kind of like forlorn feeling is the right vibe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. Joe, did you have more?
I'm not really. I want to say, Brenton, you said "Lights Out" is your favorite broadcast song, and it's my least favorite on the record.
I love how it ends.
Very repetitive compared to a lot of the other ones to me. Like it feels very slow, and I find not much happens over the 4.5 minutes of the track.
Oh no, the vocal delivery on the chorus just like does something for me. I don't know what, but it's like, Mamma Mia, you know.
I really dug it actually. I'm really into it. I've gone back and forth on broadcasts. Like I tried to listen to them. I liked one album, I didn't like the other one. I don't remember which one was which, but I went back and forth. They were kind of a toss up. This one makes me want to go back in and listen to their albums again because I really did dig this. And a lot of what you guys said actually took right from what I was thinking as well. Like I was on a similar wavelength. I wrote that it's strangely hypnotic. The idea of it being forlorn, I totally got because it felt hypnotic, like I just said, but I wrote that it felt like a siren song, part of it, the way she delivers her vocals and the way the vocals blend in really interestingly to the instruments and the instrumentation of it. It sounds like a perfect mixture of it. Like it doesn't stick out, it's accentuated. It's like in the middle of it and you can understand the elements going around it, but if you didn't pay attention, her voice is just another fucking instrument. It's like it's kind of, I think, lends into what Jason was saying where it just kind of flows. It's because it all blends in such a really interesting way. The haunting aspect, I totally agree because I said to Joe and Jason earlier, the second track on there, The Book Lovers, I wrote that this feels like the coolest Scooby-Doo intro of all time. In a good way. I meant that in a good way. It's really interesting. I also wrote, similar to what Joe said, the alien music, UFO music. For We've Got Time, the first thing I wrote was, in all caps and in bold, alien tunes. So Yeah, I'm getting a lot of what you guys are getting. I think it really worked for me. I was in the mood for this album. I didn't think I would be to this degree, but I really was in the mood for this album this week.
I will say, and I think Brendan can attest because I actually asked him directly for music that kind of fit this mold. That I've been looking for like like science lab music, or like like something like almost like okay, you guys played Portal 2?
Yeah.
You know when you're down in the depths in the Cave Johnson part, and it's just like this like great old sciency vibe, and then something like the Fallout Institute, like those kinds of things. I just wanted some music like that to relax to. This kind of hits those notes, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird, it's a weird vibe that I was looking for, and something that seems to not be touched upon as much. But this was the perfect mix of like that like haunting kind of creepy synth music that just washes over you, I guess.
Definitely. I don't know. I guess I'm like gonna spiel about broadcast for a little bit. So like if you're trying to get into broadcast, I definitely recommend starting with this album. This album, it's a lot more mellow. Like all of their albums are pretty mellow and a very similar vibe. But this album definitely, I think, is one of the more instrumental ones, and they tend to get a little bit more poppy afterwards. But I think like going in order, so work and non-work, noise made by people, haha sound, and tender buttons. I think it's like good order to go in. It makes a lot of sense, and the band really progresses, especially ending on tender buttons. It's like a very high note. I think it's one of those, like, it's really where the core of the band's sound is. But I love all broadcast albums. Also, if you're really into the instrumentation, and not as much the vibes, I definitely recommend checking out Stereolab. Like one of my favorite groups, and very comparable to broadcast. But Stereolab is like their experimental like avant-garde pop group from the 90s, and they incorporate a lot of those same like weird electronic elements into their music. Great stuff, like Dots and Loops, such a classic. I remember, I'm just going off on a tangent here, but there's a quote from Phil Everham where, actually I think it's in the Microphones in 2020, where he says that he saw Stereolab playing the same riff on stage for 20 minutes. And it's like, yeah, that's cool.
Gotta love Phil Overham.
Love that dude.
Love that guy. So excited to cry out a Monday evening in March.
Let's go.
So excited. So pumped. We joke about it. I'm so excited to spend $30-something to sit in a theater, not a club, not a venue, a theater, to cry to the Microphones in the middle of March on a Monday. It's so exciting. I can't explain to you how excited I am.
Where are they playing?
I don't want to say the name of it, but we can talk about it later.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah.
They're playing at Madison Square Garden, where we live.
Yeah. Well, I don't really want to.
I know.
I'll tell you in the interim.
He's probably playing like in a bunch of places, to be honest.
I mean, yeah,
they are.
They're going on tour.
Probably in America somewhere.
Probably.
Maybe
Can we have
Canada.
the
I don't know.
Microphones at the Olympics?
Yo.
That would
They
be
just
awful.
perform all of the Microphones in 2020, just like straight.
Let's go.
Fun. Joe was listening to Pop Stars.
Microphone.
I was like, I want to listen to this, and I started
Good
listening
song.
to it, and I'm like, no, I'm still in the mood for depressing emo music. So
It's fair. Anyways, yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. Does anybody have anything like they really want to get out about this album? There's not a ton of like backbone to it, I'll say. Like there's not like history or anything really behind this album.
It's a
not-
compilation record.
Yeah.
I think that like this would sum up how I feel. Like it's not something that blew me away, and it's not something it's not something that blew me away, but like I really like it for what it is. It's just like a very chill, nice out. Like I plan to use this album for studying in the future.
Yeah.
Almost affirmatively. So that, and it's probably top tier for studying, to be honest. So
Yeah, depending on your studying
We
by.
should do. Oh man, we should do a study albums tier list. Actually,
Like,
yeah.
I study to death grips, so
Hype
How?
studying.
How?
what do you mean how?
Sorry, 3 letters. Which one confused you?
I study to a crow looked at me.
Oh no.
Europe. Oh my god.
Teardrops on your laptop.
I've definitely studied to death consciousness before and then just like cried for the second half. But like first half, got some good studying.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
It's my current favorite of all time, actually.
That's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Love that record.
Oh fuck!
No.
No, everyone should go listen to it now. It's Kobe's favorite album of all time.
Have
Let's
to
go.
go listen to it. And then go listen to Weird Al Yankovic, my second favorite I'm joking. It's just funny to put Weird Al Yankovic next. It's just funny to put Weird Al Yankovic next to Death Consciousness.
No.
Right next to Angelic to the Core.
Now, Angelic to the Core.
Very
is a
close
masterpiece.
cutoff. Very close. No, it unseated Nirvana Live and Unplugged in New York City, which is my second favorite record of all time right now.
Oh fuck!
Holy shit.
And no,
Kobe hates
I don't
Nirvana.
care that a lot of that album is covers. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. They do it better. I don't care.
They're good covers.
Sorry, are you gonna jam out to Lead Belly? No. You're not.
Hey, chill.
Okay.
Dude.
What were we talking about?
The broadcast record, I guess.
Right.
I'm guessing we're wrapping up.
Yeah,
Go
ratings.
for it.
Am I going first?
Go for it.
Yep.
This broadcast album, it's cool. It's pretty chill. I really wasn't in the mood for it this week. So I'll probably have to give it like another listen in the future. But I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It's an enjoyable record. I don't think it doesn't like change much. Like I feel like the problem with it is that it's not super attention grabbing in a lot of respects. It's very much a background album. So yeah.
Yeah, same thoughts. Not something that will make you cry, blow you away, really make you feel much of anything. Not in a bad way. It's like perfectly neutral. A great album, like you said, background music, or just something to kind of chill out to and lay in bed. You don't have to use it as background music. So I'm at it an 8 out of 10 on it.
Kobe.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I like this record. I think it does a lot of things really, 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 really well. It's weird, but it's good, and I like it. It all feels very cohesive, which, as Brendan said, is very admirable, especially because it's a compilation record. It's like got a weird undercurrent to it, and it feels... I don't have a great word for it, but the word that I used in my notes was it has a weird, sinister energy to it, almost. And just the instrumentation of it, I think it's because of how slow the bass lines are a lot of the time. It feels like alien music, but in a really cool way. I love Trish's voice on this record. I think it blends in perfectly well. It feels very seamless. I really dig this record. It makes me want to go check out more broadcasts, and I think I will. I'm at an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, I'm a broadcast stan. So pretty much love all broadcast records. This is no exception. I think it's a great album. I'm a huge fan of just about every track here. And I can definitely listen to this without having to be in that mood, just because I don't know, I love it so much, and it can get me in that mood. Might do a video on broadcast one day. I don't know. We'll see. Love broadcast. Anyways, I really enjoy this record. I have gone back to it many, many times and will continue to go back to it many, many times. 9 out of 10. Like, yeah.
The first time I've ever seen Brendan have a higher score than everyone else. Not kidding.
It's okay. I'll fix it with the movie.
Yeah, he won't have one here.
We watched the film Portrait of a Lady on Fire, or in French. 1 second. Wikipedia.
God. French is a beautiful language, you know.
And watch me butcher it. All right, ready?
Oh, God.
Portrait de la Jeu fait l'enfant. That's pretty good, right?
What
Does anyone
year
speak
did it
French
come out? What year did it come out, and who directed it?
It was in 2019, directed by Celine Sciamma. She is a French screenwriter and film director. It stars Noémie Merlant and Adèle Haenel. Sorry to those actresses whose names I just butchered. It is, I mean, it's a period piece about a painter who is tasked with painting a aristocratic daughter who is to be married off, who vehemently does not want to be painted, and a love affair that occurs between them. And that pretty much gives a good summary for us to walk into the movie. So,
yeah.
I guess I could start off.
I'm pretty sure Kofi's staring at Brendan right now.
No, I'm staring at how hard I'm laughing at the thought of Brendan talking about this movie.
That's true.
I'm waiting for y'all. Y'all guys go first. I'll
so let's just cat's out of the bag here. I'm pretty sure that all three, so 3 being the most important people on the show, aka me, Kobe, and Joe, are very high on this album, and Brendan is,
by the way.
this fucking movie, and then Brendan is to say it lightly, yeah, a little less,
a little rascal.
I understand that this is one of my hotter takes. I am aware. It's good.
Yeah.
This film was a Cannes Film Festival, a great success. Very critically acclaimed, and Brendan's in here trying to make himself look cool.
I need to say, Brendan, this is worse than me giving Godfather 7.
I need to say real quick. Sorry, I don't mean. I'll let you keep going in 1 second. I swear to God, I don't mean to cut you off. Just while we're talking about that, I looked on Letterboxd. Brendan, there is 3% of people that gave this lower than a 3.5 stars.
Damn.
Like 3.5%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Anyways, yeah. So I like this movie.
Kobe's just like.
I'm confused.
It is. I always kind of like when films give a look at like the historical aspects of being queer. I think that it's something that is obviously never talked about in school, and something that's probably been buried by history. And just seeing a period piece like looking at a lesbian couple that cannot be is very moving to me. So to kind of give a deeper look at the premise of the film, basically like this painter, this woman, is trying to paint the subject and also trying to hide it from her at the same time. And over time, they kind of grow a bond because they're living very close, like in close proximity. To the aristocratic daughter, she is thought to be like just a companion. So they bond and bond and bond, and then soon the cat's out of the bag, and she ends up continuing to paint the portrait, and then they start to actually develop like a full-on love affair. But this is 18th century France, so they both kind of know it's never going to be. So there's a lot of tension in that she is producing a work of art that is basically her signing away her love with someone. And it's a very unique thing. Like I don't think I've seen anything really like it in film, and it's very moving, and it's like it's the same thing as La La Land throughout the whole movie, or at least from the last third of the movie on, you know it's not going to work out, and it just kind of racks your heart because of that. Because I think that you really want this relationship to work out between them.
Yeah.
Joseph?
No, you go.
Yeah, so cat's out of the bag. I'm very fond of this one. I like this one a lot. Honestly, to kind of go behind the curtain a little bit. I wasn't supposed to be on this episode, and then Jason said that we were doing Portrait, and I was like, yeah, I really want to watch Portrait again, so I did. I'm very fond of this flick. I get the feeling. I don't know for sure. I think I'm probably the most fond on this flick, which isn't new for me. I've noticed when I come on here, but I love it. I love it. It's so intimate and it's so warm and it's so beautifully shot and the score is so intriguing and the performances are moving and the script is beautiful and legitimately I don't mean to sound so vague, but everything about this movie worked really well for me. Everything about it worked really well for me. I want to give you a more eloquent write up. I think the way Jason just described it was very, very well done. I'd love to be able to give you a point to point reason why it works for me. It just works for me. I will say that the thing that I'll say it like this. This is, like I said, my second time watching this. The thing that caught me most about this movie this time is how intimate it is. Uh, Pretty much all the shots in the movie are of either a single person or two people very close to each other, and a lot of the shots are head on or in the back or very person to person. It feels like you're watching someone. The lighting is very warm. When there's a fire crackling, the way the fire crackles, it feels like you're in the room. My lights just flashed. The, when two people are talking or walking, it feels like someone's in the same room as you walking and talking. Everything about this movie, they did it again. Everything about this movie feels very, very person to person, and I really admire that. It's a very warm and loving movie.
That is, yeah, that's something that I definitely noticed with what you said, the close-up shots, like the headshots. I think that this movie more so than a lot of movies, like many of the shots are not wide angle or fixed point. They're just kind of headshots and conversations. So it's almost like you're interacting with this person, but I think that goes back to a theme of the movie, which seems to be like reading someone's body language, especially as an artist or a poet. It's just like noticing the minutia about people, and then they use the camera, like the director used the camera to kind of put forth that theme themselves, which I think worked really well for this.
Yeah. I guess I want to also mention how I guess I love how the story or the romance like evolves and the relationship evolves as they go from like basically not talking to each other to slowly like talking more and more and eventually becoming intimate. It's very like the way the movie's paced, it works very well because there's almost like no dialogue for like the first 30 minutes to some extent. Or the dialogue that's present is very brief, and then after that, it starts to expand into longer conversations, and that really speaks to how the two main characters are like very, I guess, repressed emotionally, or I guess they're not really meant to be seen like expressing their much more deep feelings for each other to others, and so seeing those, I guess, like barriers kind of chip away over the film is really great.
Yeah,
Brendan,
Yeah.
thoughts?
Wait, I'm gonna just take a guess, and I'm guessing Brendan thought it was boring.
It was
Like,
so
that's
fucking boring. Oh my
Oh
god.
No, that's what I expected because you don't really like slow films. I've noticed. It's wonderful. I think
it being slow lends itself really well to this film, and if Brendan can't get over this, he's a big baby brain boy. Okay,
I think
the relationships and love is a slow progression, and the way that this film portrayed that absolutely fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
So,
I think I can understand seeing like the first bit of the film as being boring, but for me, what kind of makes up for not like much going, there isn't like much that I guess quote unquote happens in the first bit of the film, but for me, what makes up for that is just the atmosphere that's created from the cinematography and the just gorgeous like colors that the film uses.
Yeah, absolutely.
It creates an atmosphere that just drew me in instantly.
Totally agree. 1000% agree.
Yeah.
Now I am looking at Brendan.
Okay, Brendan, go ahead.
Okay.
The floor is all yours.
Talk
Ethan.
about why you're wrong, Brendan. Go ahead.
I understand why y'all like this movie. I do think that, yes, it's like a well-shot movie. There's good color. And, like, if you are invested in the characters on the screen, I can see how this relationship presents itself as very meaningful and very impactful over the course of the film. However, this film, I don't know what it is. It just never drew me in. I started out and I was interested, and then just it lost me. And by the half-hour mark, I was pretty much just like tuned out. And then by the hour mark, I was very tuned out because it still just wasn't doing anything for me.
Brendan, you
at
can't
like the
fall
hour
asleep.
and 18-minute mark, you get the gay shit, and it like draw me back in a little bit, and then it drew me out again.
Oh
Because
my
the gay shit
God.
You
wasn't
can't,
going
Brendan.
far.
You can't fall asleep during a movie and pretend your opinion matters.
I do not fall asleep. I was texting Em the entire time, telling her that the gay shit hadn't happened yet. Trust me. And then when
It must be. It must be hard to not know love, Brendan.
I can understand like not being into it. I fucking watched The Last of the Mohicans recently, and that I fucking did not care for that film for a second, even though it's really well
for that
directed.
film.
And
You didn't like that one.
Last of the Mohicans?
I thought you would have liked that film.
So
The Last of the Mohicans? Wait, what?
I'm joking. I'm
I'm so confused.
Yo, I'm joking. Why am I flashing?
I don't know. There's films similar to Portrait that I've seen recently. Like I watched The Handmaiden recently, and like love that film. I think that film's super super cool. It's very interesting, and I think the way that film applies its themes of love, albeit in a much more like crass way, in this film, it resonates like a lot more with me than the very just like slow thing. I feel like also, this is probably just me, but I feel like this film holds your hand into leading you into those themes. There's the very obvious line where she's like, "Do all lovers think they're inventing something new?" And it's like, oh, it was just so in your face. I don't know.
Brendan, just admit you like The Handmaiden more because there's a sex scene in it.
There's
It
a
sounds
sex
like
scene in
it.
this.
It's not really a sex scene.
We
Not
did
okay.
it.
There's a sex scene in this movie. It does not touch The Handmaiden sex scene.
That's what I've heard about The Handmaiden. Yeah.
The Handmaiden is like one coochie shot from hardcore porn.
I saw a 4.5 or 5-star rating on Letterboxd for The Handmaiden, and the reviews said, "Watched this with my mom." It was a traumatizing review.
Oh my god! Wait, this is completely unrelated, but I fucking there was some filmmaker who had they did like a top 10 like film list for Criterion or something, and I think it was their number 7 choice was The Piano Teacher, and they're like, I watched this with my mom in the theater, and we both loved it.
Oh no!
It was so good. They both loved it, so like,
I mean, yeah, but, like,
good
I
for
don't
them.
want to watch that with anybody else in the world.
Are you and your mom both horny teenagers?
It's not a very horny
it's
movie.
not
It's
horny.
just
not.
it's not horny.
I thought it was.
It's like you go watch it when you're in the mood for something really fucked up and depressing.
Okay. I hate The Piano Teacher. 10 out of 10 film. Makes me feel bad.
Brendan. I think this movie is gorgeous. I think the way I understand what you're saying about the hand holding. I understand to a degree. I don't think the main theme is, do all people who fall in love feel like they've invented
No,
something?
that's
I
just
don't think
like
that's
one
the
No,
of
I
main
those moments
theme.
I think that like stuck out to me.
I think.
I
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I want to say that I disagree with the feeling that it's like quote unquote hand holding, because while there are these, I guess, kind of on the nose
Mhm.
lines, it feels like it's always very matter of fact. Like it never feels. I never got the impression from this movie that it came off like pretentious or anything like that.
Oh.
It doesn't feel like it's really. It doesn't feel like those lines were like trying to be super grand. It just felt like the characters interacting with each other.
Yeah,
And
normally.
a lot of that, I just want to. A lot of that is
Okay.
because of just how reserved their performances are. That it means that like lines that might come off like sappy, if directed differently, come off just I don't know,
Genuine.
interesting. Yeah, genuine.
I think normally the something like the whole like Orpheus anecdote would be really cringy to me in another movie. But in this way, the way that it's kind of introduced into the story as them kind of like sitting around and reading the book, and then the two lovers kind of have an interaction based on that, feels very natural in the story, rather than it's just like, oh, have you heard of like Orpheus? Like, but no, like the way that they kind of bonded over the fact that they're just kind of reading this story, I think it fit in well thematically, and
Yeah.
also kind of, I really kind of loved the part at the end where they were like, "It's interesting you present it in this way. Usually people paint it before he turns around or after he said goodbye.
Yeah.
But you've painted him in the action of saying goodbye, and like it's that moment that mattered to them the most because of how kind of forbidden and unable they were to stay together.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a perfect analogy, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, I think it's a gorgeous analogy. I wrote about that specifically. I think the analogy is really, really perfect. I'll say the first time I watched this, the moment where, and I'm gonna butcher her name, the moment where Eloise,
Eloise.
the moment where she's in the hallway, the moment where she's in the hallway, and well, she's not actually in the hallway, but Marianne is walking down the hallway, and she turns, and Eloise is like a specter.
In
I
the
didn't,
wedding dress, yeah.
and yeah, and then she disappears. I didn't grasp it the first time. Like I understood relatively, but I didn't really get it. This time, it's like I'm like, oh, I get it. She's Eurydice, and Marianne is Orpheus turning around and seeing her for the last time, and she disappears. And I think I'm a big fan of when pieces of literature or media rhyme with themselves, and I love that Eloise is like, well, maybe Eurydice told Orpheus to turn around. Maybe she called his name and said, turn around. Maybe. And then as Marianne is running out, we see her from behind, and then Eloise says, turn around. And she does, and it's the last time she sees her, and it's her in her wedding dress. And I think that um, that parallel was really, really beautiful. I really did. And I think the discussion that they have about the myth is very interesting. I love that it's like Sophie is the ultimate pragmatist. She's like, well, Orpheus is wrong for turning. Why did he do that? There's no reason. Eloise is like, well, the love is so great that he can't resist it. And then the whole, maybe she said, turn around. And then Marianne saying that maybe Orpheus would rather, it's very notable that each person says this exact thing, the thing they say, because it so clearly depicts who they are and where they're going in this movie. And Marianne says that maybe Odysseus would rather live with the memory of Eurydice rather than the reality. Maybe the memory of it is so sweet, and furthering the relationship would muddy it in a way. And she says it's the poet's choice, not the lover's. And I just think that's a really interesting discussion to have as well. I think there are multiple layers you could go into from a lot of perspectives on this film, which is why I think hand holding, I get why you're saying that, because I'm an idiot and I picked up on that, so I understand why you're saying hand holding. however, I think there's a lot of layers you could go to with this film.
I don't think that a movie should be hard to interpret to be good. Also,
Yeah,
like I think a movie can be handholdy in its themes and also still execute them effectively.
A Good Will Hunting is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
The Avengers Endgame.
This
I haven't even seen it.
critically acclaimed film, Avengers.
you ever heard of it? Small art house film.
But yeah, Good Will Hunting is a great example of that. Like I don't want to be a film critic every time I watch a movie, and I didn't feel like I had to be for this one because I got that like dopamine rush of recognizing a callback when it happened. So kind of like when she was in the theater at the end, and I was like, "That's the one she put on the piano." And then I was just
Also, wait,
Jason would
I
hate
want to.
Synecdoche, New York.
Kobe, you said that the soundtrack was intriguing. There's literally 2 songs in the entire.
Yeah, and they're
That
both
is-
bangers. And they're both
They are-
bangers.
it is
and they're
actually-
both bangers, you idiot.
Genuinely, I
And
do
they're
think-
both bangers. You're
I
an
do
idiot.
I do think it is very interesting, the choice to only have those 2 songs. Both of them are diegetic. So you have the one where they go to like a bonfire thing.
Yeah, and the
Just,
choir
like,
thing.
hang out.
They never really say what it is.
Yeah, it was just like a little hangout.
yeah, it was
Just some
it was a
girls and
feast.
girls.
It was like an island feast. It was like
They-
the 1800s. Give them
They
a
called it
break,
a
dude.
feast, yeah.
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 They call it feast.
And they sing the one song.
They're just summoning Cthulhu. What's wrong with
yeah.
that?
And then
H.P.
Um,
Lovecraft
there's
would fucking hate this movie, by the way. Can I say? H.P. Lovecraft would fucking hate this.
There are gay people
Things he
in the
hates.
movie, so that'd be
Women, gay people,
The
France.
French.
Yeah.
black people.
Exactly.
Does he actually hate the French?
Probably.
know.
He's
I
an
think
asshole.
hated
He hates
Italians. I
everyone.
don't know if he hated the French.
He's a prick. He's a New England prick.
Yeah.
They're technically Milan is in this movie, so
Ooh,
Yeah.
and they do speak Italian in this movie.
Mamma
one point.
Mia. That's right.
Yeah.
There's and then the second piece of music is the violet or the orchestral concert at the end.
Yeah, it's
Which I
Summer
missed-
by Vivaldi.
Yeah, a wonderful way to end the movie, I have to say.
Yeah.
I love the ending so much.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting off. The last, I just wanted to say real quick, I agree, because the last 20 minutes I was holding my breath the entire time.
How are you not dead? How'd you survive?
Iron lung.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
Wait, but that's not. No, iron lung makes you breathe, though. So.
Huh?
It's not. The way an iron lung works.
I
is
can't, Joe, I can't hear you. You're breaking up. I don't know what you're saying.
Actually,
Iron
Iron
lungs,
Lung,
they're like almost a vacuum chamber. They're not actually vacuum. They just make it a low pressure chamber, so it's easy for the person to breathe.
Hey, Joe?
It actually creates a pressure differential, which pulls the air passively out of the lungs, and then the pressure changes in the chamber, pushing air into the lungs. They've been replaced with active breathing systems now, with intubation.
Thankfully.
Yeah. I mean, technically, the iron lung is a lot more natural because we
But-
breathe using pressure differentials
Mhm.
in real life.
It's
By
it's
expanding
also-
our chest. Yeah, it's a little less invasive. I know. Yeah, it's a little less life ruining, but intubation actually causes harm to the alveoli.
Mm.
Anyways, why the fuck are we talking about this again?
So the
Remember
part,
that scene in
Portrait
the
of
Portrait of
Lady
Lady
on
on Fire when
Yeah.
they give her iron lung?
Yeah.
they play My Iron Lung by Radiohead.
Oh,
I'm
speaking
shocked
of
you didn't make that joke.
speaking of medical procedures, though, I want to segue into my only
the abortion?
qualm about this film. Yeah, I didn't really get that whole sequence, to be honest, or how it molded in with the rest of the movie. This is something that I had mentioned is mentioned off the show, is that while the themes and the symbolism within those sequences are, still beautiful in their own right and still significant in their own right, I didn't feel like they played into the movie as a whole as much as other scenes did. And Brendan, you said yourself that you just thought it was to expand the lovers' relationship. And I'd like to think that that's not the case. And I'd like to hear, the two based people's opinions. So
I think it introduces some new themes. Like there's that scene where she is getting an abortion, and there's literally a child playing with her face, which was another one I thought was a bit too much. But
I
that's just
love that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan, how did they? That baby must have gone through years of acting coaching to get that shit down. Do you see that? Oh my god. It totally wasn't a random shot that just fucking happened because babies are monsters that you can't control. Ugh.
I have to say,
Amazing.
I feel bad because the baby was really cute, and I started laughing because it was like reaching out to touch her face, and then she started crying, and I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah, you didn't realize that. Let's come up for air for a second. Abortion is a very traumatic thing.
Yeah.
And that the contrast between having like a literal child touch her face while she is removing life from her body is wholly traumatic, and that symbolism there, while Brendan might call it handholdy, is still very, very significant and well done.
Maybe it's just because I've never had an abortion. I'm sorry.
That's probably, it could be it. I haven't either, but I can at least recognize the symbolism behind it without being a complete jackass.
Yo.
I'm sorry. My mouth moved and I didn't realize what I was saying. Was Kobe just not present for any of that?
No, my Wi-Fi died. What happened?
All right, let's do it again from the top.
Brendan was like, maybe it's because I've never had an abortion, and I responded, "Do you want one?"
I didn't even hear that. What?
Do you want one? Yes. That's a threat. I wanted to say real quick. I wanted to say before we started talking about it, I wanted to say that I think I speak for the. I think I can, as someone who is an occasional guest on this podcast. I think I can speak for the whole thing when I say that this podcast is very much pro-choice.
Yes.
That's just because we're about to delve into that topic. I just wanted to say that. That's all.
And I don't, as much as we joke, like, not trying to take away from how serious or significant something like an abortion is. And I mean, I don't know if you were here when I mentioned it, Kobe, but I did kind of highlight that significance.
Yeah, no, I was there for that.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, we like to joke and we like to laugh, but
we have some fun here.
It's a touchy subject. My criticism of that scene is not the scene itself, but how it fits into the rest of the puzzle that is the movie. The scene as a microcosm itself is very beautiful and touching and heartbreaking at the same time. We're talking about a 17, 18-year-old girl who has to cope with the choice to have an abortion. Otherwise, her life's ruined because she doesn't have a partner or a husband, which is traumatic. But Sophie, as much as she's a character in this movie, she's a side character, and it seemed like a story that is more of a branch off the main story than something that actually progresses the plot for me.
I'm Kobe. I'm curious to what your thoughts are on it.
So, yeah, I'd say that my theory on it isn't super fleshed out. I'd say, so the thing about the movie is that the main characters are all searching for their own level of freedom, right? And their own level of freedom to choose, yes, but the freedom to kind of live their lives, be young, fall in love, have a journey, whatever. And even as simple as like freedom from the island, freedom to walk, freedom to swim, all stuff that's spoken about in this movie. And Sophie is in a really precarious spot because she gets pregnant and she's young and she's kind of mirroring Eloise's journey in that if she doesn't do what she's doing and have that really traumatic procedure, like we just said, she's having that innocence taken away from her as well. She's not choosing when she gets to be a mother because she just unfortunately got pregnant really young. So she mirrors that journey in a lot of ways, because in the same way that Eloise is about to be given away without a choice, she's losing her innocence. She has to become a mother. She isn't a kid anymore. And she's really kind of doing it because of the very unfortunate decision that her older sister made. She was drawn back because of that. So completely out of her own hands, she's forced to become an adult all of a sudden. And she's basically forced to be sold like cattle.
So
in a similar way, Sophie has her innocence unless she gets what she's. And really, you could argue her innocence is gone because of the abortion that she has to have. Her innocence is stripped away no matter what. So her childhood is just ripped away from her with no choice of her own, similar to Eloise. And really, in a way, similar to Marianne, because Marianne, who wants to live a life with the love of her life now, she can't. She has to give away the person that she's in love with. So everyone's doing something that they don't want to do in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just going to say, you see it more like allegorical than just like, oh, he's gone.
Oh.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I would say it's much more allegorical and symbolic than just. I do think it's a good excuse for them to bond, but I don't think they were like, well, we need him to bond. Might as well give Sophie an abortion. I don't think it was like that.
Okay. Also, one other I want to also bring up, because you talking about this is the cogs in my brain are turning. One thing that's interesting is I guess for both Eloise, I guess for all the characters, or the main three, their, I guess, freedom is like to some extent stripped away by men. So Eloise is being essential, not sold, but given away, essentially, to a guy. I forget her name. The maid. I forget her name again.
Sophie.
Yeah. She has to make this traumatic choice because of a man who, I guess, a man who got her pregnant and then like didn't care to stay at all. And Marianne, she in a similar, I guess her freedom to be in a relationship with Eloise is being stripped away because both of the, I guess, patriarchal society that they live in, very, anti-LGBT society, as well as Eloise being given away, as said before. So a lot of it is like freedom being stripped away for the whims of men, essentially. There's also
to support that, she has that conversation saying where she can't paint men because the men don't allow it.
Yeah. There's also you also brought up the idea of freedom, and something that's interesting is basically Sophie, in going through the abortion, is also, I guess, choosing to be alone, as in she doesn't have a child, and that's also brought up when Eloise is when she goes out on her own for a day, or Marianne like encourages her to go out on her own, and she says she'll be free. So like I guess the idea of like solitude is like sort of linked with the idea of freedom to some extent.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't call the abortion sequence a negative so much as in like, if it was gone, like I don't think I would miss it, I guess. I feel like the movie felt a little more disjointed because of it, but it's not to the point where it made me uncomfortable or feel like it was ruined because of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You were just like, I don't know why the fuck this is here.
Yeah. It's just like, and it don't get me like, I love pretty much every part of this movie. I don't dislike that sequence. It's just the one part that I was like, I could take this or leave it, I guess. In terms of cohesiveness, which is a big part of what makes a movie a 10, is whether or not I feel like every part, every scene, every shot actually belongs in that film.
Yeah. And I yeah. And that's totally fair.
'Cause 10's perfection, right? So like, you know, I gotta think something's perfect.
Yeah. We as a group gave out a perfect 10 as a cohesive unit once that I've been here for.
We
We
did for
Persona.
Persona, and then we did it again for Come and See, but you weren't here for that.
Yeah.
I was not here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
should
I think
watch those episodes of the podcast.
Woo!
yeah, nice plug, bro. At an hour and a half in. Hey, watch more episodes of the podcast, however fucking long we're in.
Watch-
We're at hour
Yeah.
37 right now.
I would hour 37. I would say it's really well done. I understand what you're saying. It does kind of feel a bit jarring. The Sophie character was hard for me to wrap my brain around the first time I watched because I was like, I don't really give a shit about Sophie. And the second watch through, I was like, well, I don't mean it in a mean way. I was just like, she's not really the most interesting thing going on right now. And then the second time, I had a different appreciation for Sophie, where I was like, yeah, Sophie's cool, yeah. You know, I think it's really well done. You also brought up cinematography there. I think this movie is so impeccably shot. I think it's so gorgeously shot. I think every shot matters in this movie. I wrote it's kind of like, and I know how this is gonna sound, so forgive me for how dumb this is about to sound. I felt that this movie was like a silent film with words. Insofar at, hear me out, that insofar, yes, I know what a silent film is before you start talking, I know. Insofar as every shot and every frame and every color and every choice on the actor's part told a story where I could have watched this on mute without the subtitles and probably got what was happening. I think it's that purposeful, and I think each step it takes is that good.
You read this book, it's like a comic book without pictures. No, Toby, I'm sorry. That was really mean.
What do you-
That's a fine. I know what you mean, because a silent film has to use
Comic book without pictures?
yeah.
Hey, yo, I went to this museum. It was like a
A
graphic
book.
novel without words.
But anyways, I know what you mean. Like, there's a increased importance on how a film is shot, especially when you can't use dialogue as a vehicle to tell a story.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't necessarily share that opinion, but I can respect it nonetheless. So.
Like I said, I think I'm higher on this film than most of the people
Kobe,
here.
how many?
I thought you were gonna say like you're on a higher wavelength than us or something.
No,
like,
guys, I'm
something
just
absolutely
crazy.
I'm tuned into the universe in ways that you don't even understand, man.
Kobe,
I speak French. Yeah, what's up?
Kobe, how many silent films have you seen?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, because like character movements in silent films are like so over exaggerated because they have to be.
Yeah.
It depends on the
It does.
film.
So they tell the story, piece of shit. I don't know what your point is.
This film would not work without dialogue.
I thought it was what I'm saying is that I think I'll say it like this. I think the cinematography, I think everything tells a story. Everything inside of it tells a story without it having to speak.
You could
Yeah.
actually test your theory and just watch it without subtitles.
Probably could.
Just like see if you like get it, you know?
Yeah.
You probably
Become
think they
deaf.
were reading like Little House on the Prairie instead of Orpheus, but
Little House on the Prairie.
I don't know.
I just,
Sorry, I
you
just
know.
picked a book. The
Little
Hobbit.
House on the Prairie.
The Hobbit.
Little
Yeah,
House
it's
on the
just
Prairie
like
was
The Hobbit.
huge in 1700s France.
Yeah,
Huge.
Well, the
They
Hobbit
loved it.
really was. They were living it. The Hobbit.
Hey,
1700s
oh wait, no, it
France.
is 1700s. Fuck. It says 18th century on the page. And I was like,
Yeah, I know. It's really confusing how it's like one ahead.
Yeah.
There's a shot very early in the movie where it's Marianne in front of Eloise and their profiles, and Marianne looks at Eloise for a long time, and then Eloise looks, and Marianne looks back away forward, which is to the left for us rather. And she's looking that way, and then she turns, and it's the same thing with Eloise looking ahead, looking, and then Marianne turns again and turns back, and Eloise is still staring at her. It's just like that whole sequence. I was like, "This is fucking cool. I like this. This is fucking cool."
Did anyone when she threw the portrait in the fire? Did anyone say it's a portrait of a lady on fire out loud in their head?
Yeah, I said no. I said it out loud, not in my head. Out loud.
Yeah.
When I was alone in my room watching this film with the blinds closed at like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
I was watching it, and it's not important why the blinds were closed. And I was watching it, and it gets to the part where she sets the portrait on fire, and I went, and she's on, and it's on, and she,
Yeah.
and I said that out loud.
Yeah, it was on fire.
Yeah.
Anyways,
They practically say the name of the movie like 3 times in this film. I know what fucking movie I'm watching.
okay, I think they actually said it once.
How many times do they say the word car in the Cars movie?
No, so they said it once.
And children what South African apartheid is.
They said it once, then the portrait of the lady was on fire, and then the lady was on fire.
And there's a portrait of her, yes. So yeah, 3 times.
No.
Oh, my internet died. Or no, just Joe's dead. Never mind.
It's Joe.
Oh, that face that he's stuck on. He looks 90. I'm screenshotting that. Wait, why does he look so old?
Joe looks like a grown man.
I'm sorry, listeners at home, whoever you may be.
Well, like they now know what Joe's face looks like because he's made videos with his face in it. Joe looks like a grown man. It's and he's not. It's really funny.
He looks like Ned Flanders.
So mean.
It's only the mustache. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't for the mustache. He's
The
also
mustache.
not yellow.
He is also not yellow. No, he's pasty.
Were you guys there for like the conspiracy videos the other day, where it's like The Simpsons is an alternate universe that we have TVs in or something?
I believe it.
Did you cut the recording?
No. Why would I?
This is so awkward. Why did I say that on live? Guys, this show sucks.
You called Joe Ned Flanders, and he wasn't even here to defend himself.
This show's so scuffed.
Hey,
Can't
sorry,
take it
my
in.
computer just literally just overheated.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go without my camera on for a little bit.
The portrait of a
Anyway.
computer on fire.
Go, Jason. Jason, let's go. Come on now,
We
Jason.
should,
Bring it home.
Okay,
that's-
Radiohead.
Let's rate and say next week's stuff.
Yeah, we should probably
Yeah.
wrap it up. That's a good cue.
Brendan, you better have changed your rating by now.
No. Right? This film's still fucking boring.
Oh my god.
No, it's amazing.
All right,
Silent
so
film thing didn't sway you?
here's what I'm thinking. I'll go, then Kobe, then Joe, and then we'll end the show.
Yeah.
so-
Brendan, Brendan goes first, and then the good ratings go.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
Alright.
idea.
The ratings
I'm
that
gonna
matter.
be quick. This film was not for me. That being said, don't take my opinion, take their opinion. Like, I totally understand I'm the odd one out here. It wasn't my thing. I am sorry. Not that I don't like gay people or women or anything. Like I said, I'm a huge,
Brendan
huge
hates
fan,
gay people.
huge fan of y'all gay people and women, and especially gay women. Just saying. 5 out of 10.
You're Brendan. If I could jump through my screen and rip that dumb fucking smirk off your face, I would. Oh my lord, Brendan.
Anyways, hey, good opinions coming soon. I really like this film. It's beautifully shot. I've said it before on a past episode. I think that cinematography is like just has a huge bearing on whether or not I love a film or not.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't know. It's just, I'm at a loss for words. It's just, it's a gorgeous film. It's touching. It's just something that I think you need to experience yourself. I'm at a 9.5 out of 10. It's just almost perfect.
I also absolutely love this film. It's beautiful. It's gorgeously shot. Super interesting and like wonderful story. It's real good. I guess my only problem is like there are some shots that I wish were like just framed slightly differently. There's conversation specifically between her and Eloise, or Marianne and Eloise's mother. They're just sitting in the chairs. I just wish they were framed slightly differently. Anyway, very small complaint. I would give this film like a 9 out of 10. Maybe it'll become a 10 when I eventually rewatch it. So yeah.
Yeah. That's a similar path to what I had when I first watched this movie. I gave it a 9 out of 10, and one of my main points on my Letterboxd review was who the fuck let me give this a 9 out of 10 instead of what it deserves. And what it deserves to me, because I think this is a walking, talking work of art, and we talk about masterpieces a lot, and I can see Brendan getting very cross at me. It looked like he was getting I think it's a piece of art. I think it needs to be preserved and like shown in like study halls for people trying to make movies. I think it's gorgeous. I think everything about it works for me. I think it's methodical, it's elegant, it's intimate. I think it's beautiful and warm and gorgeous. And the last 20 minutes are some of the best pieces of film you will watch in a movie. I'm at a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. There we go. There you go. The ratings. All right.
We didn't kill Brendan.
Yeah.
So, so next week, we have a show. I guess the question for next week.
You never sound certain about that part.
Who knows?
Well, you never know what's going to happen between now and next Monday.
You never know. Yeah. It's true.
The question for the week is, who is the best vocalist of all time?
Love that question.
Afterwards, the album for next week, I have to get it back up. Once I had it up. The album for next week is going to be Starship Velociraptor by Jonathan Young.
I don't know what it is. Great name.
And then the movie for next week is going to be Howl's Moving Castle.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, that's it for the podcast this week. Unless we wanted to talk about Space Jam, but I don't think we do.
No.
Well, hold on, real quick style, like lightning round. Just give your rating out of 10 for Space Jam, starting with Brendan. Go.
4.
Okay, Jason.
7 out of 10.
Joe.
2 out of 10.
I was at a 6 out of 10. Okay,
average those together, and you got it.
I think that people who call it like a corporate hellhole are just negative Nancy's, to be honest.
Oh my!
It is.
Very much.
That's what it is.
It
shoves
come on down your face. It is Warner Bros. Is stroking its own dick the entire film, but I can still appreciate the film.
I can still appreciate.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is like, of course it's that, but stop being a negative Nancy about it.
Well,
it's not.
It's taking away from the.
What's wrong, Nancy? Oh, is Nancy here? Is Nancy here? Is negative Nancy in the room right now?
Like, King Kong did not get annoying.
No, I was fine with like the references to their IPs. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
I liked seeing King Kong.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love seeing King Kong.
Big monkey.
I didn't watch that movie thinking, I can't wait for Space Jam to not be a corporate hellhole and just be funny Looney Tunes movie.
It was also just not funny at all.
Disagree.
I laughed at like one.
I think there was some funny things.
It's not a good movie, but you cheese balls.
It's
made for 8-year-olds.
It's fun.
That doesn't excuse it being a bad
watch
movie.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Pixar movies are made for 8-year-olds. Okay, Pixar films are made for 8-year-olds, and Up makes me cry. So like, it's not an excuse.
Can I change my favorite dinosaur
Pixar
of all time
movies
to
are
King
the
Kong?
exception that proves the rule, in my opinion.
Can I?
No, what are you talking
No,
about?
you're not.
Jason?
There's so many Paddington. You got so many good
There's
fucking kids
a
films.
ton of great Disney films as well.
Disney
Pixar
film,
and
The
Disney
Lion
are one and the
King.
same.
No, they're not.
not.
They're separate companies.
Pixar and
Yes,
Disney
A lot
are
of
very
Marvel
different
films are made for like 8-year-olds essentially, and they're really good.
I just think that if you complain about a kid's movie being cheesy, you're part of the problem.
It's not. I
Kids can
never
have
said it was
quality movies.
cheesy. I never said it was cheesy.
You said it wasn't funny.
Yeah, I said it wasn't
That's
funny because it
completely
wasn't.
different.
I bet it would be funny if you were
I'm
8.
not funny, and I can still be.
No, but
Yeah,
no,
I'm
but
not a
Joe,
fucking
but you're
idiot
22
anymore.
watching Space Jam 2,
I am
expecting it to be on the
21.
same level as fucking Casablanca.
I have
Appreciate
never
it for what
seen
it is.
Speaking
Casablanca.
of Casablanca,
I'm not
you referenced
expecting
Casablanca so
Space
many
Jam to be
fucking
on the same
times in
level
that
as
film.
Casablanca. I'm just expecting it to be entertaining, and it wasn't.
Oh well, you know, I thought I could respect you after the Portrait of a Lady on Fire review. Here we are. Here we fucking are.
Sorry, I'm sorry that I made us go through and talk about it.
All right,
This is all your fault,
that's
Joe.
it for this week.
Listen.
All right.
Here.
All right.
One
No,
last
we're
thing
done,
about
we're done,
Space
we're
Jam.
done.
No.